Check this out. What is going on? It is officially deer season here in Nebraska. Well, it's been deer season for a while now, but I have a special tag. It's called the River Antlerless tag, and you are eligible to get this tag if your property, private property, is within 3 miles of a major river or a few creeks here and there through Nebraska. Oh my gosh, it's getting windy. But I got one of those tags. Actually, I got a couple of those tags. It's a single tag you buy, and you get a bonus tag. So there are actually 2 tags for the price of 1, and it's a discounted price in the first place. So there's a little window. It's like an early season for rifle hunting to get out and actually harvest an antlerless deer. So it's before a major rut, the major rifle season, kind of in the middle of bow season right now. And it allows us to go out for about a 1 week, give or take, might be 10 days, and harvest an antlerless deer. So that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So today I'm actually in the gun range. If you remember my videos from last season, I missed my first deer that I've ever missed on this property. And then when I did harvest my deer later on, I shot high. It was high, but I mean, I took them down. It was all good, but just made my confidence in this gun not 100%. So I don't know if I had the jitters, something's going on. So I'm here in the range today. I'm gonna do a couple shots, make sure I hit a gong, make sure I feel good and confident for tomorrow's hunt. So let's get this thing shooting. All right, well, I don't know if you heard that over the sound of the gun, but all 3 gongs were hit. Went out and reached out to my 50-yard gong first, a little 8-inch. You know, a little high, but nothing, you know, man, that's like the size of a baseball, and it's in there. So I am happy with that. Second shot, I went backwards a little bit to my 35-yard gong. Again, it's an 8-inch. Actually, a lot of power behind this thing, blew it up off this thing. And it hit right there again. So again, baseball, not too bad. Man, look at that crevice. That 270 is probably not exactly meant to shoot that close. And then last shot, reached all the way out past my 50, past my 60, went up for my 70-yard gong up here. This is a 10-inch gong, and it hit it dead center. And most of my shots for deer typically are between 25, 30, maybe 40 yards. So reaching out to here, being able to hit this right there, dead center. So I mean, still not too bad considering. But so don't know what happened last year. Missing my deer, high on my actual harvest, but you know, whatever. New year, new season. Next time you see me will be tomorrow morning in the dark, climbing up in the stand in hopes to harvest ourselves our first deer of the season. So see you tomorrow morning. Good morning. I'm out here at the edge of my property right now, getting ready to head into my deer stand. It is like 37 degrees. We had a frost warning last night. We had like 2 days of rain, and then it just dropped in temp. So hopefully we're gonna have some good movement this morning so I can get ourselves a doe tag filled. So I will see you in the stand. All right, guys, it is now getting light out here, and it is just a nice, calm, cold morning. And this tree that I'm attached to right now, I think it's the roosting tree for a bunch of the turkeys right here, because I got out here this morning and I could hear a bunch of chirping back and forth. And then once the sun came up enough, I could see some turkeys right above my head. And then they just started taking off one at a time. And there's about 8 of them that just took off. And If you've ever heard a turkey taken off from a tree, it is loud and pretty crazy. If you're not ready for it, it's kind of spooky. So, but they took off, and now it's just dead quiet, dead still out here. So I'm really hoping we can get ourselves a doe this morning sometime. But this is the ladder stand that I was out and had to do some fixing on. I think I set it last year, 2 years ago, and then I had to come back out here and readjust it because it was kind of angled wrong. But it's just, I'm down in the bottom of my ravine, but I'm up high enough that I can actually see the top side of the other side of the ravine. And I got all the way down, bottom of the ravine, both directions. And then behind me is about 50 yards of timber on the other side of this ravine, and then it just stops and it's all grass and cedar and stuff. So it's just a nice little area for those deer to sneak into once they're done feeding for the night and kind of get back to where they want to bed down and stuff. So wish me luck. Let's see if we can drop a doe. So it's been pretty quiet so far this morning, but the nice thing about my property is I'm basically hunting my backyard. So every morning, especially on the weekends when I'm up, I'm seeing the deer out there in the beans and the cornfield right outside my kitchen windows. And they stick around, 8, 9 o'clock sometimes out there. They're not running off to the trees as soon as sun's coming up. So, there's a good few hours where they're still kind of lingering around out there, and then they slowly make their way back here. We're in a pretty secluded area where there's just not a lot of traffic noise, not a lot of, other homes or properties around us moving critters around. So they seem to stick around. So it's a nice thing where I can kind of evaluate and I know what's going on with the deer around here for the most part. So I always anticipate it can be fairly quiet in the mornings, but I just like to get out here super early just to kind of let myself disappear in the background if I did make any noise, and let the deer kind of forget about me if something is out and about. So I'm hoping within another hour should hopefully see some movement coming in. There's tons of squirrels though. All right, there's a couple turkeys that I heard up there. I think it startled a deer because I can still hear him snorting. Can't see it, but it's on the top side of the ravine, maybe on the outside of my trees. Oh, we got some doe over there, top of the ravine. Looks like 3, maybe 4. But they're pretty far deep into the other side of the ravine. I can never take that shot. There's too much timber in the way. But they're moving now, so that's good. All right, those doe, they went by. Then eventually they went back. And now I see them again. They're over here on the top side, working their way back this way. Now if I can just get them a little bit closer to me, towards the edge of this ravine, I could take that shot. So all I could see was some bodies but in my scope I did see one was a spike. So a little buck running around out back there. But they were closer to the edge where I got the buck in range and in my scope. I mean, I would have had a shot on him if I wanted to actually shoot him, but obviously I'm not gonna shoot a tiny little buck. So I'm just hoping now maybe they make their way down. A lot of times they come down the edge of the ravine. Maybe they'll work their way back up here, down lower. We got 2 doe just on the other side of this tree. All right, there we go. Just got our first deer of the season. Like I said, they were working themselves back and forth on top of the ravine, but they actually worked themselves to the other end, the tip, and then came down around, worked themselves down to the bottom of the ravine, and literally came out. I mean, from the bottom of my stand to where that deer was standing, like 15 yards. Actually, had my scope was zoomed in way too far because I was scoping out the top of that ravine. So I was zooming in, and when I went, all I could see was fur. So I was trying to adjust that thing, and then it looked up, it spotted me, and I took the shot. But I think I got the shot on camera. Went around this bend over here. I heard it hit the trees hard and collapse, so I know it's down over there. So yeah, this is awesome. We got to get down, pack up my stuff. Let's go find our doe. All right, so we are down here at the point of impact. Oh yeah, there's a good amount of blood. Right there. There is the tree stand. So like I said, I was only like 15 yards away from the bottom of the tree stand, but that is like, I think, a 15-foot ladder. And there's also a bank right here behind me. That's another 6 foot tall. So we're looking at a good 21, 23 feet up. I was above this deer when I shot. So I had to aim really, really high to make sure I got that angle. I needed to make sure I had a good shot, but yeah, this thing, it's spraying everywhere. The base just ran right in front of me. So we're gonna make our way around this little bend, and I know he kind of maybe started to run up this little hill, and then I'm sure we'll see him right on the other side of this hill. So we'll see, track some blood. Oh yeah, it came tearing around pretty heavy right through here. It came around this bend. Like I said, that's when I heard it crash shortly after. So I think it started to climb a little bit of a hill. I can hear some deer back there snorting at me too. Geez, this thing is spraying everywhere. All right, so right about here is where I lost track of it from the stand, because there's another hill right here. But like I said, it's going up this hill right here in front of me. All right, let's see if I can climb up this thing. We have found our doe. It ran a fair amount, but there's so much blood spraying everywhere. I mean, this place is just covered. There it is right there. right. Okay, I'm kind of like wedged between two little hills here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it down out there. I'll get you guys a better look at it. All right, guys, just got this thing drug down here to a more level spot so I can do some field dressing, but I was looking at the shot placement and I'm pretty happy with what happened here. So like I said, I was about 21 to 23 feet up above this deer. It was about 15 yards away. So I had a very steep shot and it was quartering to me just a little bit. And so I placed the shot right there, high shoulder, just back behind the leg a little bit, and it traveled through. Let me see if I can get this thing flipped over for you. There we go. And look at that. So it came out, yep, right there. That is where it came out. So its travel was in over there on the shoulder, came through this, through lungs, maybe, probably missed the liver, but I'd say that's pretty darn good. All right, guys, I am going to jump on into field dressing this deer and get it pulled back up to the house. Next time you see me, I think I'm going to probably take the back strap and I think I'm gonna put it on the smoker. Yeah, that's right, we're going to smoke some deer for supper tonight. So I'll see you then. All right, guys, look at this thing, 2 pounds venison back straps. This is just one. It's just gonna be me eating this today. So I decided just to do one for today, but I'm gonna smoke it on my smoker. Right now it's hitting about 130 degrees, doing a lot of smoke. So I'm gonna go ahead and season this up. All I'm gonna do is simple pepper and some salt, keep it super simple. That way then all the flavor is gonna come from the smoke. I'm gonna let it sit in the smoker on the smoke setting for 1 hour. And then after that, I'm gonna crank it up to 225. I'm gonna watch the internal temperature of this thing. When it hits about 135, I'm gonna pull it. And I'm gonna wrap it in tin foil. I'm gonna set it inside the house. It's gonna continue cooking until it hits about 140, 145, and then it should be just about perfect. I have done this before. A lot of people are a little afraid to cook or smoke on a smoker their deer. They're like, it's already lean, it's gonna be dry, but I have done this before, and as long as you watch the internal temp, that's the key. Is I'm gonna get a probe in there and it's gonna sit there so I can monitor this thing for the right exact moment to pull it off and get it wrapped up in foil and move on forward, so that way you have a nice, juicy, tender back strap. So we're gonna move this over to the smoker right now. All right, our back strap is ready to go on the smoker. I got my probe, put that in there, pull it out at that perfect time. We have finally hit 135, actually a little bit more, it's right there, 138. So we're looking good. Time to pull it. Oh my gosh, look at that. So we're gonna pull the probe, get this thing transferred over to some tinfoil. All right, guys, it is time to cut into this. Ooh, that looks awesome. Check this thing out. All right, let's get cutting into it. All right, look at that. Nice red center. That is good. It's like perfect. I think we hit 138 degrees internal. All right, guys, check this out. It is delicious. From hunting this morning to pulling it out of the smoker, this is awesome. So hope you all enjoyed today's video. We'll see you next time. Later.